Hey, good morning, everyone. Surag, it's a mic test.
Yes, I think there is a little bit of echo.
Okay, give me a second. Reconnected device. Is it better now?
Yes.
I hope it's been loud and clear.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. So, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Once again, welcome to SE300 discussion. So, yesterday we were discussing about a topic called hybrid connectivity. We were discussing about a concept called Active Directory Connect. Let me take you into whiteboard. So let me continue from the same topic where we've been posed yesterday. Let me take you into the whiteboard. So yesterday we were considering a case study. We are in a customer place. Customer is having on-premises DCs been available, and customer want to synchronize the existing user account, which currently it's been available on in the cloud. So we understood yesterday a couple of points. In case if you want to go for any kind of a synchronization, you need to have a on-premises AD. You need to have a on-premises AD is needed. We have created a couple of user account yesterday. One user account was it's been Surag, and another one we have been created is Messi. And for synchronizing this identity with the cloud, we have installed another member server. So member server is being configured. So we understood in case if you are going for any member server, that server needs to have a minimum version of Windows Server 2012. That is the minimum version generally we are using on in a client side. So you need to have a server which is been configured with the Windows Server 2012. And on top of that, you are going to install AD Connect. Now we learned before implementing a AD Connect, we need to ensure that this server has been part of this domain. That's the mandatory action we need to do it on in the cloud side. Once it is done, we are going to synchronize with the cloud platform. So we are going to connect with a cloud platform here. So we have learned a couple of points yesterday here. The moment when you start synchronizing your infrastructure between on-premises and cloud, it's mandatory that you need to have a two credential handy with you. There are two credential information always be needed in case if you're going for any kind of a synchronization here. The first method we understood, it's like one side it's been connecting with a on-premises ADDS. So obviously you need to have a user account which got an enterprise admin, so we can able to pull the information from on-premises AD takes because we need to have a identity management. We need to have a information about attributes. What are the attributes currently it's been available? So you need to have an account which got enterprise admin power. On the other side, where you're going to manage this one, we are going to attach with a tenant on in the Active Directory. So you need to have a ID which has been available with the global admin permission also. So the ID which you're going to use it on in a cloud, that's need to have a cloud as well. So you need to have a cloud admin who basically known as a global admin on in the cloud. So you need to have a global admin power also is needed. So with the help of that, you can able to connect it here. So right now we have configured two computers here. We have given a name called apple.com. That is the one simulation we have taken yesterday. And we have configured a AD connect also. Let me go through a couple of options. Currently it's been available on in the portal. Let me go to the portal here. Let me take you into the portal. I hope you can able to see the screen here. So we have installed two VMs here. One was AD Connect and second one was it's your domain controller. So right now both the computers are in a off situation. because yesterday after our lab, I've been moved into a off condition. So let me enable this two servers here. So let me enable these two servers here. Let me power on. Let's wait a few minutes. Right now, I'm just powering on to VM, which has been currently configured here. Let's wait. Right now, you can able to see on in that notification area, your VM has been got created or it's been working. Now, let me connect to the AD server here. Sorry, AD Connect server here. Let me connect the AD Connect, where we have installed this AD Connect software. So that's our name. While doing our lab, we have given it AD Connect. So that's the reason I'm using the term AD Connect. Let me use a RDP. Let me connect to the server, sorry, Bastion service, because yesterday it was not working. So let me use a Bastion service. Let me connect. Just connecting with the help of a Bastion service. It's a pop-up is been blocking here. Let me enable a pop-up for this connection. Let me try to connect to this server here. Right now, you may be able to see instead of a RDP, server is been connecting with the help of a protocol HTTPS here. So that's one important learning all of us had. In case if you're using a Bastion service, it's not going to use a RDP or RDC protocol. Like RDP is the protocol. Basically, we used to use it with a port number 3389. But in the case of a Bastion service, it's not going to use a 3389. Instead of that, it's using a protocol of HTTP or a HTTPS. That is a protocol generally we are using here. Right now, the installation is in a progress here. Now, let me go to the server here. Now let me go to the AD Connect server here. Right now you can able to see that we have been taken a connection to the AD Connect server here. Let's click on the AD Connect software. You may be able to see there is an option called AD Connect here. On the desktop, I've been created a shortcut. So click on the AD Connect here. So right now on the screen, so right now on the screen, you may be able to see the AD Connect package or a tool is been opening here. So right now you may be able to see the system has been already connected. We have already installed a software here, AD Connect here. So with the help of that, it's already done a installation part. Installation part has been already done with the help of a express route here. So with that the reason all the users are currently it's been synchronized with the cloud AD here. That you maybe already noticed here also, right? When the moment when you selected a Active Directory on in a cloud, you maybe already noticed this one. Once Active Directory synchronization is being started, you maybe notice the user account which currently have been created on in a on premises. Immediately this has been synchronized with the cloud. So few people may be having a question here. What is the normal synchronization time? Generally it will take. So generally this has been, it's been taking a 30 minutes, the normal time. generally we can able to uh, generally it will take for a synchronization purpose. So generally it will take a 30 minutes is the time for taking a synchronization one. Now we have got another question also on the chat. How generally this has been EAD Connect has been downloaded? So that's one question which you are getting uh, from one of the participants here. So I think it's been yeah. So in case if you want to connect EAD Connect, there are multiple methods we used to use it. You may be seen here in our simulation or in our scenario, the procedure we have been followed. It's been like we have downloaded this Azure AD from the Microsoft portal here. So we can able to download to the Microsoft Download Center. Uh, you have a portal has been available here. You can just go to Microsoft portal here from the AD Connect download. There's the option you can able to use it. So I'm just pasting the link on the chat also in case if anyone want to use that one or bookmark one, you can use this one. So this is the link for that in case if you want to download, you can download it from the Microsoft portal link. So I just pasted the link on the chat here. So from here, you can able to download it. Now you can just go here also. This is basically like an MSI file. This you need to copy to the server, and from there you can able to download it here. It's pretty much very simple procedure. You don't need to worry about it. It's very simple one. So once it's been done, it's been easy to just run it like a normal software also. Now you can able to see here. Now right now you can able to see here the MSI file is been available here. From here you can able to configure it. So once it is done, the synchronization is done. Now the moment when you started or it's been connected this AD Connect, you may be able to see there is a two screen is been coming. Like it's something called a customization screen that's basically known as configure and a exit. The moment when you start reconfiguring it, so this is the place where you can able to do a AD Connect settings in case if you want to do any kind of a configuration change. Right now we have followed a express installation procedure, right? We didn't done any selection of what is the type of the synchronization you want. Yesterday we got another question like, in case if I need to do some on list particular OU needs to be selected. So this kind of answers is been not selected, or we are not worried about that kind of a configuration yesterday. But we are in a customer place. Customer has been looking all this kind of information. Customer wants some kind of a synchronization method to be configured on in the client. So all that option is generally configured with the help of the configure button here. But the point you need to remember here, the moment when you select an option called configure here, this will be disabling, or I can say the right word, I can say it's been like the moment when you select a configure option on in the screen, you may be able to see there is a message is getting in a bold letter. You may be able to get a message, hey admin. The moment when you start for selecting an option called configure, whatever existing synchronization currently is happening, that is going to be post. That will be moving to a pause mode. So this is going to be taking a pause mode on in the server here. So that will be taking a pause mode. So if there is any synchronization is happening on in the backend, that will be moved on in a pause mode here. So let me select this option here. So the moment when you select this option called configure here, you may be able to see there are many other options are coming here. Like you may be able to see there are many options is been listing here. For example, like you want to see what is the current configuration currently it's been available on it. What is the type of the synchronization currently it's been available here? Or if you're thinking like, I need to review the current configuration, currently it's been configured on the server, or I need to export the settings. You have an option called view and export current configuration. So the moment when you select an option called view and export current configuration, you can able to configure it from here. You can just click on the view and current configuration. This will be showing you what is the existing configuration currently it's been configured on the server. You may be able to see like a review your solution. What is the type of the synchronization currently it's been configured. You may be able to see there are few details here, right? Right now you can able to see there is a configuration is being done with a cloudhub.com, and this is the ID it's been used. And if you're going here, you can able to see what is the type of the configuration is being currently configured, and you are able to get an option for exporting also. In case if you want to export it, we can able to configure it here. Now I'm saying no, I don't need this kind of a details here. I need to go for another option here. So I'm just selecting option like I don't have option to go back to the main menu or the main options here. Only the option I have it's been like I can able to select an option called previous yet. So from here I can able to go back to previous options here. For example, like if I need to do some kind of a synchronization option, right now there are two type of a synchronization. Basically Microsoft has been supporting. One is being knowing as a password hash synchronization method. So let me take you into whiteboard here. Now, right now we have learned the moment when you configured a server here, or the user information or identity has been pushed. Now, what about the password? Or basically in a cyber world, we are using a term called hash. So what about the password of this user identity? So basically, if you're taking a Microsoft from your on premises to cloud, synchronization has been happening in a two method. If you're using a AD Connect, there are two methods basically it's been using. The first method is been knowing as a PHS. First method is been knowing as a PHS. Basically, this is been knowing as a password hash synchronization. So if you are using here, the term or a terminology we are using on in a cloud, basically it's been knowing as a password hash synchronization. So this basically a password hash synchronization is the method we are using. So in case if you are using any uh, AD Connect in your system, you have an option of password hash synchronization. So this basically uh, there are two synchronization methods been available. One is called a password hash synchronization. That's basically known as a PHS. Second method is been knowing as a PTS, the technical term or the word we are generally use. Sorry, PTA, not a PTS. PTS is a different one. So this is a PTA. The second method we are basically it's been knowing as a PTA. PTA stands for password pass through authentication method. There is a two method we are using. One is a pass through authentication, and second one is a password hash synchronization. Now, let's see what is the main difference between this password hash synchronization. So this basically using, for example, like I have a user is available on in a on premises. Let's take as example like on premise ADDS. You have a user is been created. I'm just giving a user account called Messi. Password is been PSG. Password is given PSG here. Now this user has been synchronized with cloud. So the moment AD Connect is been used, and with the help of AD Connect, this has been synchronized with the cloud product. Now the moment it's been synchronized with a cloud, along with your username, you may be seen the moment when we installed here in a cloud, Messi, the user account was been moved or it's been published also here, right? So what I'm trying to say here, the moment when you configured a synchronization here in a password hash synchronization method, the moment when you use a method called a password hash synchronization, along with your username, whatever password also you have been configured, that also will be moved here. I hope it's been getting. So in case if you are using a any user account, you don't need to remember password on the both the side. What I'm trying to say that we don't need to create a separate user account on in a cloud for a machine, because the more password you remember, you need to remember, there is a probability of your forgetting the password also, right? No, so the password reset or um, password movement, it's been happening on the both the sides. So whatever password you have been creating it, automatically the password or the attributes or the hash, that also it's be configured on in the uh, cloud also. So it's a feature that's basically known as password hash synchronization is a feature. This has been synchronizing the user's password from an on-premises Active Directory instance to cloud Azure AD instance. Now, what is the advantage here? Once the user account is been synchronized, once the password is been synchronized, the same password can be used for all your SaaS application also. I'm just giving a scenario. For example, like you're using a collaboration tool like a Teams or Exchange or any of the Microsoft 365 product, or you have a Microsoft Intune, or if you're using a CRM online, all this can be used the same password. You don't need to worry about it, or you don't need to think about remembering a password. This has been helping us to improve our productivity. We don't need to spend a different help desk, because every time the commonly we used to get it's like help desk is the team who's been taking care of this one. So technically in the backend, this component, the synchronization component, because the moment when you install an AD connect in the Azure AD side and on-premise AD side, there is a synchronization component is been generally it's been configured. The moment when it is using a password hash synchronization, your password it's been taken from your on-premises, that it will encrypt, and this has been passed it as a string to Azure, and Azure will be decrypt, and it's been encrypting the hash word and it's been storing the information on in the cloud side. So technically, end of this session, you need to understand if you're using a password hash synchronization, along with your username, the password also it's been pushed into cloud. So what is the advantage here? If I'm a user here, I can log in here on premises with the same user account. If I'm connecting to the cloud, same user ID and password also it's been I can able to use it here. So this authentication is been not sending to client here. Let me pause it here. You may be having a couple of questions related to this. We can have a discussion or a debate, and if you're good, we can move to the other options here. If it is clear, can you put a single comment on in the chat? If you're good, can you just put it on chat? Yes, three people has been commented on the chat, waiting on in the uh, rest of the members also to comment. Okay, so thank you. So thank you. So we got a few positive feedback, of on the chat. It's been like that's good. Now there is a question has been coming on it like on the chat. What will be the default storage capacity? That depends upon the per user here. So this is a cloud solution. Generally in a cloud Active Directory, the license is been calculated per user basis one. So there is no default storage kind of a concept for Active Directory. This is basically what is the type of the license you are using, and based on that, it's been provided. So that depends upon the licensing model and depends upon what you have been configured. So Kumar, so answering to your question, so this completely depends upon what is the specific plan or the licensing level you have. So you have a free version also available, and you may be seeing like a version of a premium one or a premium two. And yesterday you may be notice here like if you're using a free version of Active Directory, 5 lakh object storage limit you have, which includes users or a group or a device. And basically, it's been allowing us for almost a 5 GB of a file storage in case if you have a SharePoint online. And even this is not directly connected to Azure AD, but when you are going for a paid version like a P1 or a P2 premium, there's a two model we have available. So that's got more object or it's been like a more Active Directory object size. So it's not a file storage. This will be basically users, the number of the users which you can able to create it here. If an individual user or enterprise modify the password on premises, how it will be updated on the cloud portal? That's a good question we are getting. So I understood like you have a scenario. It's been like you have a user who's been residing on in a cloud, for example, like a local network or in the server. Uh, how this has been configured here? That is an important question. So that basically we need to configure a option on in the portal here in the cloud portal. Uh, there's something called password write back. For example, like if you want to reset your password on in the cloud, and this needs to be reverse, it's mainly passed into a client. You need to enable a password write back. Otherwise, it's been a synchronization will connect with the help of AD connect to this automatically. It will enable this one. So from on premises to cloud, immediately this will be synchronized. But in case if you're doing a resetting of your password, you have a, both the scenario also, right? Go. For example, like if your user has been sitting here and you have a user account called co here, you have been resetting a password here to 123. This password is being given. By default, reverse replication is not happening. So you need to enable a feature called password write back. Then only it will resynchronize into on-premises DC. But if I have a user here and if you're resetting from here, automatically with the help of AD connect, that will be synchronized with the cloud. I think we are good with this. So right now you may be clear about how password hash synchronization has been happening here. Now let me go back to the portal here. Now we need to remember one more point here. One, it's been like if you created a user account here in a on premises, only this user account is been synchronized with a cloud. For example, like I have created a user account called co here in the cloud. If I created a new user on in a cloud, this has been not replicating here. Okay, so reverse synchronization has been not happening on in the AD connect or in a cloud. I hope you got the point here. Only from the one side, for example, like on premises to cloud, on premises to cloud only it's been happening. Only the on premises to cloud only generally happening. So you don't have any option of reverse synchronization here. For example, like if you created a user account in a cloud, that user identity or a user attributes is been not synchronized with the on premise. So only one side. That is one important point all of us need to remember here. So in the password hash synchronization, right now we understood the synchronization method. It's been allowing both the side of your infrastructure is to hold the password here. But in the second method that basically known as pass-through authentication, there is a second method has been available that basically known as a pass-through authentication. So in a pass-through authentication, this has been bit different here. So you have a on-premises AD here. And you have a cloud also. Now, there are some situations the customers want to follow the on-premises Active Directory in the organization, because all of us are already aware that if you're using an on-premises AD, that's allow us for a lot of security policies, which is been currently it's been not available on an Active Directory. For example, like I need to put some kind of a login hours or a log of hours, or I need to put some kind of additional attributes on in the cloud, which has been not supported on in the cloud as of now here. So that kind of a situation, instead of authenticating from your cloud, because in the previous situation, how the authentication was happening, you have a user has been available, user was authenticated with the help of Azure AD. So the moment when you give a username and password, authentication was happening on in the same server. Now, right now the customer is having a different requirement here. Customer is saying like, I'm already having on-premises DC. That DC has been configured with a lot of uh, policies. This can be password policy, this can be logon policy or log off policy or some group policy. So the customer is understood all the security features are currently it's been not supported on in Azure AD. So whatever it was available on the on-premises, currently it's been not supported. So that kind of a situation, you can able to ensure you can ensure that if any user is being logging to a cloud portal, for example, like I have a user is been available, the moment the user is being logged into the cloud portal, that authentication process, instead of doing from Azure AD, this will be redirected to on-premises. Clear? I hope you clear about this. I'm repeating here. You are in a customer place. Customer want to use your existing on-premises DC for a login. So with the help of that, you can able to do a configuration here. I'm just repeating here. You have a user account. Yes, Kazi, I'm repeating this. Give me a second. You have a user account. This user account is been, let me give an example. Like we have a user account called Surak. I'm giving a first one. I'm giving a user account. It's called Surag here. So the first, right now we at least you learned two authentication method. One is a PHA and PTA. I hope all are aware about this. We have a two synchronization method. Is that point has been clear? At least you got a point. You have a two synchronization option has been available on in the cloud. Okay, great. So few people has been commented. They are clear about that. Okay, great. Okay, now I'm giving a scenario here. By default, when you install an AD Connect software here, the default authentication method or a synchronization method it's been using is called PHA. That's called a password hash synchronization. All of us are already aware that the moment when you created a username, for login username alone is been not sufficient. What except what are the additional information you want? you want information about the password also. So what I was trying to say here is, if you are using a first method, when the synchronization has been happened on in your system, along with your username, your password information also it's been passed to here. Clear? It's been simple. Let me put in this way. Let me let me put in this symbol way here. Okay. This is your debit card, ATM card. Okay. Now you have given to your wife or a girlfriend. So you are given a ATM card detail. So what you are doing, along with your ATM card or your bank account, or it's like you have a bank account, you have a bank in Bank of America. So the moment you provide a, you have a two option. One is me like only provide the username. Second one is the first method. It's me like you can provide username and password, both information uh, providing first time. Second method, it's been like you are only providing the username. Password, it's been like if a friend is been typing, they will get only username. So you will going and typing the password, some additional security, right? So similar way here also, you have a user account is been available here. In the first method, along with that, your username and password is been synchronized. So along with this username and password has been synchronized here. Second method, it's been if you're using a PTA method, only the username will be synchronized with a cloud. So what's really happening if a user is been trying to connect it here, user has been trying to log into this portal here. Now user will be type the username and password. How the authentication is happening, your Azure AD will take a request here. Since I don't have any information about a password, he will talk to on-premise AD. He will send a message to on-premise AD saying that, hey, happy Valentine's Day. I got a user request from so and so computer. Please validate this one. What your on-premises AD will do? On-premises AD will validate inside the NTDS, and it will validate all the security policies been configured on in the Active Directory. Only then it will be passed into cloud. So if the user or if that attributes or if the credential is been allowed, or then only they will be able to log into that computer. So technically, pass through authentication is a new type of authentication option. It's been available on in Azure AD with the help of authentication. Whatever authentication requests are getting, that will be passed through. That is the reason it's been the name itself is showing as a pass through. You maybe remember like a PTA, that's called a pass through authentication. That means information is been passing to or through to an on-premises Active Directory controller for your authentication. If the authentication has been right, the authentication will be approved and the user will be able to connect it here. So that is the way it's been working. I hope it's been clear now. I got another question here also on the chat from a TC. So what is the difference between PTA and ADFS? Both are different TC. So PTA is basically TC. It's been like using for authentication. ADFS has been more an authentication method. Basically, like you're using one in a federated kind of a mechanism. For example, like if there is some acquisition happen or there is some merging is happen, and you want to have make a you want to make a trusting between some other company. That kind of a situation, you can able to go for a ADFS here. So the main difference is been like the way the authentication method is being used. So ADFS is been establishing a federated trust relationship between a portal and ADFS and the cloud portal. Both are both are in a secured authenticated mode. Any questions? If you're good, can you put a single comment on the chat? Okay, now that's about the password hash and pass-through authentication. Now let's go back to the portal here. So we have seen there are two options been available here. Now let's go back to the portal here. Let's go to the portal here. I'm just selecting cloud portal here. I'm just giving the password. Some credential issue. Let me re-enter the password. So right now I'm being connected to ADDS here. Let me give a name here. It's been the Active Directory has been selected here. I'm just giving next. So let's wait here. Right now, the option you may be able to see here. You have a option you are getting on the screen. Yesterday, someone was, I think, uh, you may be able to see here. Yesterday, someone was asking a question here. Is there any possibility to do a filtering on in the OU? Yes, we have option here. For example, like you are in a customer place, you have a 10,000 plus user information has been available, including a OUs. Now the customer is saying like, rather than pushing all the identity solution from your Active Directory, only a particular OU or a particular user only needs to be pushed into cloud. For example, like you have a different department like HR or a finance or a marketing department. You don't want all the user from an existing on-premises AD needs to push into cloud. So that kind of a situation, you can go to this configure option. From here, you can able to select. For example, like I'm saying, like instead of selecting all the domains here, I need to select only a particular user account. I can able to select it here. I can able to create a OU here, and only that OU can be pushed into the cloud here. In case if you want to do some filtering respective of group or it's irrespective of a department, then you can able to go for this OU filtering here. Now we got another question from Sumedha that's asking like, is it PT has been better than PHS? That all depends upon the complexity of Sumedha, your infrastructure. If the customer has been thinking or the customer has been worried about security policies, or if they want to implement a more security attributes or a security policies in your organization, PTA may be the right approach. Because so every time this needs to go and authenticate to the on-premises ADDS, that will validate all your security option and attributes and will ensure that you will have a right solution has been available for your customer on the security aspects. Now here you can have an option for selecting this OUs, etc. Right now I'm saying like synchronize everything. Now this is the place where you can able to select your uh, synchronizations. Right now you may be able to see here, you have selected an option called a password hash synchronization here. So by default, when you go for installation of AD Connect, by default this has been selected as a option of password hash synchronization. So the moment when you select a AD connect, by default the option has been selected as a password hash synchronization. If you want to go back to password through, you need to use a separate option here. I'll show you that from where you can able to select. Now here you may be able to see another option, something called a password write back also. That's another important option you can remember. Password write back is an option basically using, for example, like we have discussed about a synchronization is been only in one way. That means whatever user account we have been created on in the cloud, that is being synchronized with a cloud. Now there are some situation, the password also it's been coming to the picture. How the password is being synchronized. For example, like the moment when you use a password hash synchronization, user information along with the password is being replicated into the cloud. Now I have a user who is been resetting a password on in the cloud. In that kind of a situation, is there any reverse synchronization has been happening? That may be the one question. Basically, yes. In case if you have been configured a option of password write back, I'm not saying your user account is been resynchronized or a reverse authentication is happening. Only the password will be resynchronized here. So this has been only the password only be resynchronized. It's not the user account here. Now I got another question here. PHAC is mean it's like a seamless SSO. No, it's not seamless SSO here. So seamless SSO, you may be already aware that it's not using a password hash synchronization. So that is the main difference. Complementary, it's been I can say it's been kind of a complementary technology. Now let's go back to the portal here. So in case if you want to configure any kind of a password write back, if you want to enable it, like both the side, if you want to reset a password, then you can able to go for the password writes back also. So both the side, in case if you enabled a resetting on in a cloud also, that password will be updated on in the on premises also. So this is the way the AD connect has been working on in a cloud. Let's wait. Now right now the synchronization has been started here. Let's wait. Let's wait a minute here. Let's wait. The configuration is in progress here. Right now the configuration has been completed here. Now you may be having a question here. From where we got a from where we can able to select a PTA option here. So I'll show you from where you can able to select. Right now by default you may be seeing the user option or the AD connect has been using a PHA here. Now, in case if someone want to select an option is the synchronization is method, it's been um, PTA. You can able to go for the configure option. From here, you will be able to see some option called change user sign in here. Now, from here, you can able to select it here. Let me give this entry here. Let's wait here. Now from here, you can able to select an option called pass-through authentication. So for example, like if you want to set is a pass-through authentication, you can able to go for that. So this is the way generally the AD connect is been working. Now, any questions from anyone? Najmuddin is, uh, I think you missed the first portion. Already we have been given explanation. Let me repeat it here. PT is something like it's basically known as password pass-through authentication. Means the moment when you give a username and password, authentication it's been happening on the on-premises one rather than it's been authenticating from a cloud. So it's been passed, whatever request you are getting, that's been passed into a on-premises AD. From there, the authentication has been happening. In which situation this has been applied? For example, like you have some security option or a security setting is available that needs to be enforced to a user, which that feature is been not available on in the cloud. That kind of option we can able to go for a pass-through authentication. After the break, I'll show you an example, like something like a login hours. Let me set it and show you how this has been working here. Now, so that is the mode of a PTA here. Now, Sumedha is asking a different question here. What is the best time interval for a synchronization? Is it depends upon um, number of the users? Sumedha, this all depends upon many factors here. Now, the time interval of any synchronization between a AD connect, uh, it depends upon the number of the users, the frequency changes, or what is the business requirements of your organization, and what time the user has been accessing, what time it's been provisioning. So generally the synchronization frequency you can able to see. Generally it's been normal time has been 30 minutes. Balance has been depends upon the volume of the users or the volume of the frequent changes which has been happening on in the infrastructure. So normal time or normal frequently it's a 30 minutes the time for a synchronization. Now it's a component based Najmudi. It's been like you have a two component will be used on in a AD connect. One is been a synchronization component. You can able to see here. For example, like if you go here on a Microsoft portal, you may be able to see there is a service account and component is been installed here. Similar kind of a component is been configured on in a client also. So after the break, I'll show you what are the AD components. It's been available on in AD Connect. I'll be discussing about that. So any other questions? So answering to Najmuddin questions, you have a synchronization service has been available. That is one core component you can able to see. And second one, it's been like you have a AD Connect configuration is a wizard type tool currently we have been used, and you will have something called a rule editor, and you have something called AD Connect Health also. If you go to AD Connect Health, there is a tool has been available here. AD Connect Health, you can able to see here Azure AD Connect Health. So this is a separate tool which you can able to see it on in the portal here. So this is basically a monitoring tool. So whatever alerts or a notification, or if there is any kind of a synchronization error is been happening on the system, that you can able to get it from here. There is a tool has been available on the portal that's called Azure AD Connect here. In case if there is any duplicate attribute, or in case if there is any error, synchronization error happen, or that kind of message you can able to see on in the cloud portal. Let's do one thing. Let's take a 5 minutes break and come back, and I'll go through the all the presentation of AD Connect, and we'll move to resource tagging, and we'll discuss about multi-factor authentication and conditional access also. Let's take a 5 minutes break. I hope all are back. Yeah. So there is no need of daily attendance. So already, if you have given a attendance on the day one, that has been sufficient. In case if you have been not filled or if you missed yesterday, you can use the same link. No need of submitting your attendance on a daily basis. So I think on Najmuddin, I answered all your questions on the chat about the Azure monitoring. Basically, Najmuddin, like in the on-premises side, if you want to push your logs, there is a concept we are using. It's basically known as log analytics workspace. With the help of that, whatever log is being created or it's been available on in the system which is been on in on-premises, that can also it's been able to push it here. So you can able to use Azure Monitor, and you can able to use a log analytics space also. That's the way generally it's been work. Okay, great. So I think we are good with the this concept here. Now let me go back to the portal here. So right now we have seen how the hybrid connectivity has been made on in a customer places, right? So how the user has been using an option of um, AD connect option for connecting to user here. Let me post a question here. Let's have a quiz here. Okay, let's do a assessment here. Okay, this is the first question for you. Robert, answering to a question here. Your question is saying like, I noticed that all created user in the on-premises can access a Azure portal here. Why is that possible? Like, is there any on-premises AD they can do a permission role? It's in a role-based access control only, Robert. The moment even the user is been connected, he will not be able to do anything on in the portal. In case if they want to do, you may have to configure a RBAC, role-based access control, either in a subscription level or in a resource group level or in a resource level. So this is the first question for everyone here. So this is a one in training assessment. Let's go for a in training assessment here. So this is the first question for the day, and just posted on the chat. Requesting you to read this question. There is a question has been posted on the chat here. Can you just comment it on that? So we got another question from a Jacob here. Jacob is asking, is there any AD license is needed? No, Jacob. Azure AD is been completely a free tool. That's been allowing us to synchronize your user identity and password between on-premises and cloud one. So there is no additional license requirement is being needed here. So you don't need to have any additional license. But there are some additional feature if you need it. For example, like a group write back or a device write back, some kind of some advanced feature is needed. There is a AD premium or a enterprise mobility, basically known as EMS license is needed. So basically, for a normal synchronization, you don't need any additional license here. So team, I have been posted a question on in the chat, requesting the members to comment it on the chat window. There is a question in training assessment. We are getting an option here, like Muhammad is being trying for implementing a AD connect on in a customer place, and due to some many factors, if it is not successfully synchronizing, so is there any kind of issue is going to happen? So there is a kind of a Mohammed. It's basically user login problem. From my experience, this can be result into a lot of inconsistency, I can say. One is been like users is facing a login prompt. If the user is been not promptly synchronized on in a on-premises to cloud, users won't be able to log in a cloud resources. That may be the one problem. Or some situation you may uh, get some incorrect attributes or a group membership issues or provisioning or a deprovisioning issues. So these are basically, I can say, this has been going for or going to face a inconsistency here. So that is the feature or that is the issue we are going to get it here. Now answering to our question, answer is AD Connect. So right answer for our question, which I've been posted on in the chat, is an AD Connect. So the solution which you are going to use, it's called AD Connect here. Now let's go to another topic here. So before that, we are getting a questions on in the chat here. What is the major concerns or it's been a pros and uh, cons about a password hash authentication and password pass-through authentication. So let me type it here. So there's a few pros and cons. This you can able to bookmark it. So I'm just posting this details on the chat. Give me a second. Uh, so Daryl, you can able to copy this one. So these are few pros and cons here. Just pasting here. So if you want, you can uh, copy into your OneNote or system here. I'm just typing here. Just give me a second. So this is the few pros and cons for Daryl. You can note down. This is for the pass-through authentication. These are the few pros and cons, and these are the few pros and cons for your password hash synchronization here. So you can just bookmark. I have already had handy with me. Um, so I'm just pasted on the chat. In case if you want to use it or if you want to do some further learning, you can use this one. Just pasting on in the chat here. So this you can. This I hope this information will be useful to the people who is be looking for a pros and cons on the PHA and the PTA also. So let me. So Daryl, I just pasting the password hash synchronization also. You can bookmark it. I hope this information will be helpful for you. Right, Daryl, if you're okay, you can just put a like button on the chat. So Daryl has been confirmed is okay here. So there's a two information you can able to use it here. So any other question did I missed here? So we got another question from a Robert is asking here. Is there any kind of a tool is been available to ensure that your synchronization is been available? There are many tool Robert has been available. You may be remembering like Active Directory replication status tool. This is one of the tool in a normally in an operational role we used to use it. So this tool has been you can able to available it on in a Microsoft download center. I'm just pasting the tool link on the chat. Robert, you can able to copy this tool name. This tool has been available on in the Microsoft Download Center. From there, you can able to download it here. So this tool you can able to download. This will help us to understand the replication status. And there is another tool or a PS command as you asked for a PS tool. So we used to use a command. I remember that's called a test AD authentication. This is the one tool or one script or a command. We used to use that. So this will understand um, able to under you'll be able to uh, get this information. Now if you're specifically if you're using on in a Azure AD, whatever tool I given, that's been general given I given in an on-premises scenario given. But in case if you're looking on in a Azure or a cloud-based one, Robert, for your information, I have been discussing about a tool called Azure AD Connect Health, right? You may be remembering, or you may be seen here when we are doing a lab here. You may be on see, noticed in one tool available on in a portal also, right? You may be able to see a tool called AD Connect Health. So with the help of AD Connect, this basically a dashboard which basically refer your all your information about your infrastructure. Is there any kind of active alert, or is there any kind of authentication trend, or if you have any other metrics needs to be it's been monitored, or if you want to see the log or a diagnostic information that you can able to see from here. Now you can able to use another command also on a PowerShell. So this is the one commonly used PowerShell command. We used to use it. So Robert, you can able to copy here. This is the command we can able to use on in a slide here. So this is basically the command basically we are using on in a customer place here. Now I'm getting another question on in a chat here. Basically this connection has been I understood like a TC's question has been related to a connectivity part. What are the type of the TCP port basically we are using in a customer place for a connection here. So TC basically we used to use a port number 443 because this is an agent or the component are basically using a TCP port 443. So basically in a pass-through authentication, because you have a two type of authentication is been coming. One is a pass-through authentication. So all the communication has been established in a HTTPS. So basically it's been using a 443 and the 80 is the port we are using. Now, when it is coming on a AD sync also, basically 443 only the port is being used. So you can use, you can enable a port number 80 and a 443 on in a uh, AD connect or in a, basically on in a, so you can enable this port on in a, either on a NSG or you can able to use it on in a, this one. Yes, we got another message. Yes, 443, not 4433. I was just mentioning it's a 443. TC is a 443. Okay, let me type it here. It's a 443. Now, Najmuddin is asking, it's asking like a third-party tool for AD Connect binary tree Active Directory tool. Yes, you're right, Najmuddin. Binary tree Active Directory Pro, or there is another tool called a Bit10 Migration Wiz. Both are the third-party tool. Generally, we used to use in a customer place. In case if you want to go for any migration or a management of your Active Directory, we used to use that. So both the tool has been available. So binary tree has been I've been used for migrating users or a group or in any object on an Active Directory for us. That can be done with the help of a binary tree Active Directory. Bit10 it's been basically a cloud-based migration tool. Basically, Active Directory object or email or any data if you want to use, both can be used here. So that depends upon in the customer uh, requirements. Like some of the customer may be not agreed for a third-party tool to be run on in their infrastructure, but I have been used to this both the tools from my operational experience. Najmi. I worked on both the tools. Skykick has been one tool. Basically, it's been available on in the customer place, but I don't have any hands-on experience on that third-party tool. Uh, but one of my training, one of my participants is use this one. So this also having a suite tool has been available, but I didn't got any chance to work on a Skykeep. So I've been used on other tool which has been mentioned on in the above. So Skykeep, I don't have any experience. This all it's been a third-party tool. Basically, we used to use in the Active Directory. So Skykeep, I don't have any personal experience. That is not a Microsoft tool. That's a third-party tool. But that tool can be used after getting a approval from the customers. So Skykick also it's a third-party tool. Clear? So I think we are good about AD Connect. We had a lot of discussion and debate happen or information happen. So thank you, Naj, Robert, Daryl, that's posting, and Thanks to everyone who's been participated on that discussion. There is a lot of new topics outside or out of box also been discussed. That's been great. So because you people has been already working on this infrastructure and all that information has been uh, uh, useful for others also, because some of the members may be not aware about this tool like a BitTitan or a Skywalk. That's been useful for them as well. Now, like you don't need to fill a daily attendance. You already fill. I remember, like in the day one, I think you already filled, so you don't need to go for a filling again. Also, like if you already fill, you don't need to go for a attendance for today. Now, so like you already feel this one, so uh, you can about this one. Now, I'm getting another question on in the chat. Can I connect Azure AD with the Azure Sentinel? Yes. In case if you want to go for any kind of integration, you can able to connect with the Sentinel also. So you can use the AD log for a data source and you can able to do that. So the integration of Sentinel and integration of Azure AD, it's been possible here. So it's been possible on so answering to Najmuddin questions here. Yes, we can have a option of uh, configuration here. Now I'm getting a different question from a um, Jacob here. So is there any kind of availability or a failover has been available here? Yes, Azure AD is like Azure Active Directory is having a high availability and failover capabilities. So Microsoft is already, it's been working in a distributed fashion. You don't need to configure anything from your side. That has been Microsoft has been already taken care about that. So it's been having high available and the reliable service has been available. So there is having SLA also available for that. Microsoft has been having some SLA agreement also for here. So back end you have a availability and failover. You don't need to go for any kind of a permissions here. Now, tenant, Najmuddin is we need to refer that Microsoft page here. For example, like if you go to SLA for Azure SLA for AD, so you need to just search on the portal. So there's a many 100+ services are available here. So I'm not exactly remembering what is the SLA Microsoft has been committed for AD. So always not myself alone. So even if you're on in the cloud admin also, it's been very tough for us to remember what is the SLA for each service. It's been very difficult. Always we need to refer the Microsoft service level agreement page here. So you need to go to this page, and from here you can able to see what is the agreed SLA for the Active Directory here. So so you need to refer the Microsoft page for any kind of reference on the Microsoft. Now we are getting any yes, you need to have a, I'm getting a question here. Is there any kind of a tenant permission? Yes, you need to have a tenant permission has been available. It's needed. Then only you will be able to do the synchronization here. You need to have a permission is needed. So I think overall, I think I've been covered almost all your Q&A questions on the chat, and I hope you have been comfort with the hybrid connectivity here. So let me go to the another topic here today, that's called MFA. You maybe heard about a term called multi-factor authentication, right? Uh, what is the use of a multi-factor authentication? You may be already familiar, like when you're using a banking site, you may be heard about, or every time you may be getting a um, uh, questions, or you may be getting a OTP number on in your mobile, right? So like saying that, hey, please provide your OTP number, or please provide me the some details. Sometimes you may be using hello application, or sometimes you may be using your fingerprint. So additional multi-factor authentication or additional level of security you are being using, right? So MFA is the another security or additional layer of security we have been configuring on in your user account. So right now we have been learned how the user account can be created on in a portal, how this has been uh, able to synchronize with your on-premises. All that topic we've been discussed. Right now I'm taking it to another topic, basically on a user security side or an identity security side. how we can able to provide a security for your identity management, or how you can able to provide a security to your user account. Generally, we are using a concept inside a Microsoft that's called a MFA. Basically, it's known as multi-factor authentication. You may be remembering like the moment when you type a username and password for accessing a portal, right? Uh, there are some situation additional to a username and password. Username and password is the first level of security we are using. So the moment when you given this one, automatically the username and password is been provided, and if the user is been allowed, then only we are able to enter it. That's the first authentication mechanism we are using. Now the customer is thinking you have a option to use it on in a customer place, like additional level of a security if you need. Then you can able to enable a feature called multi-factor authentication. So this is additional level of a security. You may be seeing like a OTP code you are getting when you are trying to use a banking portal, right? So there are many ways you can able to enable multi-factor authentication for your user here. Let me show you how multi-factor authentication can be enabled for your user account. Right now you have a user account, it's been configured here. Let's see how multi-factor authentication, how OTP or some additional layer of security can be provided to your user account. So this basically multiple method we can able to use it. I'm taking you one of the commonly used method which you allow you to configure a multi-factor authentication for your user account. For doing this one, you can go to Active Directory here. I'm taking you to Active Directory page here. Now I'm just trying to use it a portal here. Now go to your option code users here. So you can able to use the option code user. Now with the help of a user account, you can able to go for that. You can able to go for a user account here. So with the help of that, uh, you can able to configure a multi-factor authentication. There you can able to see an option called per user multi-factor authentication. For example, like if anyone want to enable this one, you need to enable an option called per user multi-factor authentication. Give me a second here. Now I have a couple of user account. We have it's been created on in a Microsoft portal. You have a option is been available here. You may be able to see there is a portal multi-factor authentication portal. It's been you can able to see on in the customer place here or in the user properties, right? The moment when you selected a users here and you selected an option called per user one, you may be able to see here the option is been configured or a per user option is been selected here called multi-factor authentication. Now here you have a multiple method has been available here. For example, like right now, if you've taken this multi-factor authentication page, this page has been listing or it's been taking another page here. That's a multi-factor authentication page has been opening here. Here you may be able to see there are two options. One is a user and second one you are maybe able to see something called a service settings also. If you select an option called service settings, this will be taking into a couple of options here like a verification option, what is the type of the authentication you want, some options you are getting, and you have a option of a users also. So at the moment when you select a option called service settings, how the user authentication has to happen, is it through a phone? So for example, like this is a general settings you can able to select here. If the moment when you select a service settings, uh, you may be able to select a couple of options here. How the verification needs to be done here, you may be able to see here. Let me enlarge the screen here. So additional method means that you will be getting a text code on in your phone. So the moment you may be able to see here, um, you have a additional option you will be getting, like a text to message to your phone, or notification through a mobile app. Like in case if you are using a Microsoft Authenticator app, you can able to use it that, or you need to send a verification code. So what is the advantage you are getting? In the moment, if any user is been connecting here, you may be seeing like every time while delivering this session, after giving my email ID and password, I was just getting some OTP code on my mobile, right? Similar way, if you want to put some additional layer of security or additional layer of security for a particular user, that you can able to set with the help of a multi-factor authentication. You can go to user properties. Here you can able to define what is the type of the authentication you want. Do you want it in a text base, or you want it a code base, or you want it in a notification base, or you want to based on a mobile app? And bottom one, you may be able to see some option called history also. For example, like daily morning, you are being connecting from a same system. No point of asking the username and password again and again, right? So you have an option for remembering the history, that basically known as you are remembering a multi-factor authentication on a trusted device. For example, like on the same laptop, if Sudeep or a Jacob or a Najmuddin or a Surag has been connecting, if you've been authenticated on a one time from the device, system will remember that, will remembering like this is a trusted device. So how many days you need to remember that? So that you can able to get it from here. So you have an option for a remembering the history here. So you can able to see it's been remembering the device history here. You can able to see the device history is being joined here. So 90 days or a three up to 365 days you can able to remember. So if I'm selecting an option called 90 days, 90 days, your system won't be asking for you any additional layer, because if already if you have been authenticated from here, this won't be asking some additional details. So this basically configured, or it's basically it's been configured with a history here. So that's been selecting that device. It's been remembered by us. So that is the advantage we are going to get it here. So that's the advantage. It's been available here. So with the help of that, you can able to configure it here. Now, the moment you uh, connecting from an office, you can able to configure some trusted IP address also here. For example, like daily you've been connecting, you've been working from a hybrid mode. When you connect it to office network, you can able to select if the user has been connecting from a particular IP range, that is a trusted network. You don't need to go and ask the administrator additional layer of a security here. So in case if you want to configure such kind of option, you can able to go for a skill multi-factor authentication method. So with the help of that, this will be configuring it. So you can able to configure this options here. Now let me go back to this portal here. Let me go to the users here. In case if I need to select or multi-factor authentication here, you can able to click on the bulk update. So bulk update means that this will be enabled a complete file or the complete user account. Whoever you want to do that, you can able to go for a CSV file. In that you can able to update it here. So right now I'm not going to enable for a bulk user account here. I'm going to use it only for a Robin here. So right now you may be able to see an option called enable here. I'm saying that enable multi-factor authentication for uh, Robin account here. So I have been enabled multi-factor authentication for Robin here. Right now, if you can able to see here, on in the chat or in the MFA page, you may be able to see Robin is been enabled with a option called multi-factor authentication. You can able to see Robin is been enabled here. Let me log in with Robin user account now. Let me go to another portal. Let me connect to another portal here. Let me log in with a Robin account and let's see technically what is happening on its account here. Let me sign out and log in it again. Let me log in here. Let me connect with the Robin account because right now I've been enabled a multi-factor authentication. Let's see practically what is happening to his system here. Let's see. I'm just given his username and password. Let me queue a password here. Let's wait. Right now, Robin is getting a um, message here saying that, good morning, Robin, you have been authenticated, but your organization is been saying you are getting a message like you may be able to read a message here. Your organization need a more information to keep your account safe. So we need to enable a multi-factor here, right? So you can select next. This will be getting to another page here. You may be able to see you'll be getting a two options here by getting an app because I've been selected a three option there. So you may be able to see the user is been or Robin has been getting a three option here saying that, hey Robin, you need to use it a Microsoft app or I need to use it a separate method here, right? Right now I can able to select a phone method. See, I'm selecting a phone. So here I can able to send my number here. So the OTP number I can able to set it. So I can able to set my phone. So every time if Robin is been trying to access my computer, there will be an OTP code will be created here. So that OTP number will be updated here. So if I'm giving some number like this, so every time the OTP number will be sent to here. Or you can able to use another method also. You have an option of authenticator app, right? You have an authenticator app. So you need to enable a authenticator app on in your from a Play Store, Android or so Android or iOS. You can download a Microsoft Authenticator app. So with the help of an authenticator app, also you can able to authenticate. So this is the method generally or additional layer of a security if you want to configure, then you can able to go for a multi-factor authentication. So I hope this concept has been clear to everyone. If you have any question related to multi-factor authentication, please post it on the chat. I can able to see there is a question from Jacob here. Jacob is asking like, is there any possibility to use on-premises firewall? Can I use it to Azure? Yes, Jacob. In case if you have a software-based or a hardware-based firewall, it's been available in your on-premises, you can able to use your existing on-premises firewall for making any kind of a communication is safe. The advantage or the requirement you have here, it's like you need to create a VPN connection here. You need to create either a S2S base or a site-to-site VPN, or you need to configure a point-to-site VPN or Azure Express route. Uh, Only after that only you will be able to use your existing on-premises firewall. Or you have an option of configuring a third-party firewall also. For example, like if you want to configure any of the additional firewall, you can able to configure it from here. So you can able to go into Microsoft portal here. So you can able to go to the portal here. For example, like if you go to a portal here, you can able to go to marketplace. There are multiple method you can use. Jacob, answering to your on-premises one, you can use that, or you can go to Microsoft portal here. You have an option called a firewall here. If you have selected this option, you can implement a Microsoft Azure firewall. Now, in case if you have been used a option of in case if you have been if you want to use an organization to use a third-party firewall like a Sophos or a Palo Alto or a different firewall, if you want to use it, you can click on the marketplace. In the marketplace, you can able to use an option called firewall here. So you can enter the firewall here. So this will be listing all the firewalls on in the portal. So with the help of a firewall option, you can able to integrate third party. There are some situation customer maybe instead of maybe want to use some third party product. then you can able to select it from a marketplace. From here, you can able to go for a third-party firewall. So here you can able to integrate here. You have option for selecting here. From here, you can able to use it in option here. So you have an option to use a user option to use a third-party firewall also here. Now, any other questions? So you maybe let me go through the chat history here. So attendance is not mandatory for every day here. Now I'm getting another question here. What is the difference between multi-factor authentication enabled and enforced option? Basically, like the moment when you create a multi-factor authentication here, for example, like you may be able to see here, the moment when you entered into a portal here, you enabled, you are getting an option here. If you go to individual user basis here, you have an option of enable or enforce. Enforce means that it's mandatory that the user has to use that one. MFA enabled means that, for example, like Jason, I have been enabled for a user called enabled. This is not required the user to log in here. So user have a choice, or user can choose. MFA is need to be added as a security, but they can just log in without username and password also, without MFA also. Enforce means that the user has been mandatory that they cannot log into the portal just with a username and password. It's mandatory that they need to complete that option here. I'm enforcing here, enforcing saying that here, Robin, it's mandatory that you need to use that. Otherwise, you will not be able to do that. So that is the difference. Now, let me go to the other questions on in the portal. If any chat question, if I missed, let me answer that. So enforcing is basically providing an additional security, ensuring that unauthorized access is been not provided, so that you can able to use it. Right now, I got another question on in the chat on my from Arc. May I know what if I block my account in Azure and if I'm trying to reset but block response? Thank you. So this basically Microsoft has been this kind of issue I've been notice Arc in a customer place, like due to multiple reasons, like either there is some issue with your billing, maybe the payment issue, or billing has been not proper, or there's some pending has been, there is some payment has been pending on in your account. So billing kind of issues, you may face this kind of situation, or you may be violated some service violations. The moment when you create an account, you may be signing in some terms of service violations. Basically, see, you are saying like I'll be doing all the policies. In case if you've been violated some kind of a policies, Microsoft may disable or block your account, or system or Microsoft threat security system observed there is some kind of a suspicious activity has been, or unauthorized access, or there is some kind of a hacking has been happening on in a account. You may face this kind of a suspicious activity, or Microsoft will block your account. So that kind of a situation, Arc, you may have to connect to Microsoft um, support team, because you will not be able to unblock your account. Only the solution is been like, either you may have to connect to Microsoft premium number and you need to connect to Microsoft support team. Only with the help of the support team, you will be able to reset, or you may be able to uh, bring your account back. So because otherwise you will not be able to do this. Basically, this can be due to a hacking issue, or basically it's been violated this one, or you can able to do it with the help of portal here. Now I'm getting another question from on in the chat, saying that how can I run your MFA report from Azure? Basically, this has been done with the help of a PowerShell. Um, um, in case if you someone want to take a report, it's like you want to find out a report about the MFA detail. How this has been possible? This basically done with the help of a Active Directory PowerShell command. You need to use something called there is a basically we used to use a command here, so you can be able to use this command here. So this is the normal syntax, you can able to use it. So with the help of this command engine, you can able to download your MFA report. So this is the command you can use. This basically in the portal you are not seeing any option. Basically this has been generally we used to do with the help of a PowerShell command here. Now we am getting an option about another like how to see uh, all the MFA portal on in the one. So in case if you want to see this one, um, if you want to see all the MFA together on in the portal, you can able to go to the Microsoft portal here. You can able to see. I'm just answering to Begum questions here. How to see MFA all together? You can able to go to Microsoft Active Directory. So let's go to Active Directory. You may be able to see there is an option called security tab here, right? You may be able to see an option called security tab here. You can able to click on the security tab. There you can able to see an option called authentication method here. You can click on the authentication method. Under authentication method, you may be able to see an option called multi-factor authentication. You may be able to see an option. Generally, it will come here. That's something called multi-factor authentication. Microsoft. Generally, we used to get an option here in the security tab, multi-factor authentication. Yes, multi-factor authentication you can able to see here. So from here, you may be able to get the details here. So from here, server setting, all the details if you want, you can able to get it from here. Settings or user account notification, all these details you'll be able to get from the Active Directory Blade tab. From here, you can able to get it from here, or you can able to use the PowerShell command also. So whatever command I've been provided in the earlier, that you can able to do. CLI mode. Is there any event viewer available on in the portal? Jacob, this basically known as not an event view here. Basically, the term we are using is called activity log here. So you'll have all kind of activity log is been captured. Jacob, you may be remembering or you may be seeing on in the Azure portal, you may be able to see there is an option called a bell icon there, right? You can click on here. You may be able to see this has been mentioned like something called a activity log. Similar like your Windows, there is an activity log has been created here. So this will be creating activity log on in a Microsoft monitoring tool. Whatever action you have been uh, taking, or whether it can be provision or a deletion, or all the auditing will be done on an activity log. Or you have something called a log analytic space also. You have an option called log analytic workspace. With the help of log analytic workspace also, you can able to capture all the logs. CLA mode, Najmuddin, I need to refer it because I used basically in a customer place, we used to use it a PowerShell or a GUI only. CLI mode, the command I may have to refer it. It's been not available handy with me now. I may need to I need to just check it. I don't have that information is been handy. What are the command is been used for a CLI? I may have to refer it. Right now, it's been not handy with me because command line interface very rarely cloud administrators are using in a customer place. Who is been comfort on in a command prompt, only that people are using. I was comfort on in a PowerShell on in a portal one, so I don't have this CLI command handy with me on a MFA report. I may have to refer it. So I need to refer this one. So what is the type of the activity log you want to check it in a Sentinel? So if you want to check all the Azure one, yes, you have an option is been available. You can able to all the activity can be able to send in a cloud also, because Sentinel has been connecting with the Azure Log Analytics platform. So it's been integrated with the Log Analytics platform. So with the help of that, you will be able to pull or analyze all the data from the. So you can able to do that. You can able to do or you can able to integrate, and you'll be able to see all the logs on the Sentinel as well. Clear? Any questions? Okay. Now let me take you into another topic, basically known as a conditional access. So there is another topic we are discussing today, that basically known as a conditional access. Now we have a user account that's been available here. Now, if you want to put some kind of a condition to your user access, saying that uh, only the user is being allowed from a particular device, or if you want to put some kind of enforcement, if the user is having only multi-factor authentication, only that user account only be allowed to use it on in a portal. So that kind of a situation, uh, you, you can able to configure some option called conditional access. You're putting some kind of a condition on in the portal here. So you are putting some kind of a option here. So with the help of a condition which you are configuring on Azure Active Directory, you can able to use it here. Now, how generally this has been provided here? You can able to go to Microsoft portal here. I want to put some kind of a condition on in my system, saying that if I have a user is been login, uh, if the user is been connected only from an Android device, or it's been connected from a particular browser, only that kind of a situation only it's been allowed. So in case if you want to put this kind of a condition on in the system, that you can able to configure it here. For example, like I'm just going to a portal here, Microsoft Active Directory. I'm selecting an option called so there is one more point you need to remember here. In case if anyone want to put conditional access feature, this basically a you are putting a condition on in a Microsoft uh, user account or identity management for a allowed or a denied access. If any user want to access some particular resource, you are putting some condition. If the user is been matching with that condition, only then the user is been allowed to access. This can be multi-factor authentication, or this can be some condition like from only from a particular region or a geography, or only from a particular device. In case if you want to put this kind of a condition, you can able to configure it here. Now let's see how this has been possible here. One important point you need to remember: in case if anyone want to use conditional access, basically you need to configure a premium 2 or a premium 1 license. Basically, in a free account, you will not have any possibility, or you will not have any kind of a permission to configure conditional access. Now, in case if you want to configure this one, you can go to Microsoft Azure Active Directory portal here. You can able to go to user account, or you can just go to Active Directory. You may be able to see a tab called security tab here. Now, inside a security tab, you may be able to see an option called conditional access. So if you want to set some kind of a policy for your organization, that you can able to configure it from here. I'm putting some kind of a policy here. I'm just giving a policy here, like a policy A. I'm just giving a policy. Here I'm selecting a user here. I'm selecting a user, saying that all the users here. I'm just selecting some policies here. All the users. I'm putting some kind of a condition. I'm saying that uh, if the user is been connected only from a Windows, only that user is been allowed here. So I can able to put some kind of a condition saying that user is been allowed only from a particular device. If anyone has been trying to connect it from a iOS or a Android, you can put a condition here. For example, like if any user has been connected from Linux computer, I'm saying that Linux computation, you can define a condition here. See, I can able to put some condition here. If any user has been connected from a device from a X location, here you can able to define a trusted location here, from which country the user can connect. So if the you have a multiple, if the user is been a roaming profile, you can able to put some kind of a conditions here, or you can able to put signing risk. So that is when Microsoft has been uh, evaluating the risk level. Based on that, if the Microsoft has been observing there is some suspicious activity on your account, Microsoft will block that. So if the user has been meeting all this criteria, what is the access control we want to do it. Whether if the user is been connecting from a whether the user is been connecting from a Mac computer or a whether the user is connected from a Linux computer, do we need to provide an access or do we need to block it? Or you can able to put some additional condition. If any user is been connecting from a particular geography, make sure that the system is been asking for some additional information. For example, like I'm just setting like a, in case if the user is been connecting from a Mac, ensure that it's asking for a multi-factor authentication. Or if the user is been connecting from a Windows machine, mandatory that we need to push for or ask for a multi-factor authentication. You have a many options been available here. Whether we need to give for an app or a protection policy, or if the user has been connected from a Mac, mandatory that it needs to ask for a password change. Or you have an option for block also. If the user has been connected from a some particular browser or a device, you can able to put some kind of a condition here. This basically policy here, some additional layer of security if you want to configure, that generally we used to configure with the help of a conditional access. So conditional access will ensure that the user who's been configured with a portal having a additional layer of security has been enforced here. So for that you can able to use for a conditional access. So the moment when you are getting a chance to work on in a Microsoft Azure Active Directory, let's go for a option of a conditional access also. When you're getting a chance, let's go for creating a new policy. It's not a rocket science. You just putting some condition here. What is the type of the application the customer can access? For example, like I have a user is been available. I can define here with this user account. I'm just giving a option here. For example, like a select app. If I'm selecting an app here, if I'm selecting an app here, I can decide whether the user is been allowed to use Microsoft Teams or a 365 or only Microsoft Azure portal. I can able to select it here. Management, just to put a management. So if I'm selecting Azure management, this user will get only access to use it a cloud portal. You may be remembering like when we are using Azure Active Directory, that allowing us for a single sign-on. But even if you're using a single sign-on, you can define what are the application can be used for a single sign-on here. For example, like I have a user called Jacob. I want to block Jacob is been not allowed to use his single sign-on for a Teams application. You can block it here. Here you can able to select that particular application and you can tell block it. So he will be able to use it only Microsoft Azure management tool. Only he'll be allowed to use it a Azure portal here. So in case if you want to do a app level blocking or allowing, or if you want to allow a connection only from a particular device or a geography, that you can able to do with the help of an option called conditional access. But the important point you need to remember, conditional access is been not allowed on in a free account. So that's been only allowed only if you're using a um, what I can say, it's like on a premium 2 or a premium 1 license only it's been allowed here. And you have an option is something called what if also. There is a tool is been available here. What if is nothing, it's a monitoring tool. This is be something like it's giving a report. If you are implementing this policy or if you're enforcing this policy, how technically this has been going to affect your user information. So before implementing this one, if you want to you do a evaluation on in your system, then you can able to use uh, this account here. So you can able to do a test run here, or you can able to do a evaluation here. So with the help of that, you can able to use it here. Now that's about the conditional access here. Now let me go for a Q&A here. If you have any question, let me answer that all the questions here. Now Jacob has been asking a question here. How many VM I can access on in or I can create in a Azure? Jacob, this has been completely depends upon what is the type of the subscription if you have. So this number of the VM it's been supported or number of the VM you can create in each region. This is will completely depends upon your subscription. In case if you want to see the number of the VM you are able to create it here, you can click on the search bar, type an option called subscription. You may be able to see an option called subscription here. Click on the subscription tab. This will be opening a new page Jacob for you. So you can able to see the number of the subscription currently it's been available here. You can click on the subscription tab. This will be taking you to another page. Inside that, under a option called settings, you may be able to see an option called usage and a quota here. So this will be able to give you a summary for you. For example, like how many VM or how many network card, how many network security group, how many user account, how many storage account you can able to create it. Currently, how much have been created. If you want to get a summary about this, you can able to see here. Right now, Jacob, you can able to see here. For my current account, how many VM I'm allowed to create in the North Europe region itself. I'm allowed to create 25,000. Right now, you may be able to see out of that, two out of that 25,000 currently I've been used. So 25,000 right now it's been allowed for me to in the North Europe alone. Okay, not about other regions. North Europe alone itself, Jacob, I'm allowed to create a 25,000. So out of that, only two right now has been created. There are some situations, Jacob, for example, like your 25,000 has been completely you've been utilized. Then you have a something called an option called request a quota increase. So you have an option for connecting to Microsoft. You are saying a Microsoft, hey Microsoft, I have been created a 25,000 VM, but I have a more requirement. So I need to have a more than that. Then you can connect with the Microsoft support team. So answering to your question, Jacob, in a simple way, the number of the VM which you can able to create or the number of resource you can able to create in your account, it's been completely depends upon your subscription. In case if you want to monitor the usage, or if you want to see what is the current quota currently you have, or in case if you want to go for an increase, you may have to go for an option called usage and quota option, which has been available on in the cloud portal here. Now, I have another question like uh, on in the portal O365 user login to Sentinel. Yes, you can use the same user ID for login to Sentinel as well. So Office 365 generally generate a variety of the logs. There you can able to use it for in case if you want to do any kind of a monitoring here. So clear? Any questions? So tomorrow, so today we are just winding up almost 40 minutes early today, and tomorrow we'll have some discussion related to the governance and the migration aspects. Surag, over to you. So I hope I have been answered almost all the uh, questions which has been posted on the chat. In case if I missed some questions, you can able to post it again on in the chat. I'll try to answer it. Now, Surag, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Robin, for the session of day 4 on Azure Active Directory, and I hope you guys enjoyed the today's session as usual. And I'm and I see a few people are asking for attendance form. I hope you have filled at least on the first day if you are coming, or if you never filled it before, I will share it. And the recording of the today's session will be shortly available in our YouTube channel. And if there is any question regarding the session, please do let me know in the chat box. And thank you again for joining with us today. And thank you all.
So
Have a,
thank you all. Yeah. So tomorrow we'll compensate this 30 minutes. So whatever we are ending early, so we'll be compensated on tomorrow. That. Thank you. Have a great day.
have a great day.